So just a quick summary of everything. We had our toothbrush rule, which we do have on the sheet on there. So toothbrush, just kind of forgive yourself if you do have a little oops. It's just, okay, get back right on the track after you maybe have a meal out or something that wasn't on plan, or maybe you miss a workout or something like that. Just get right back on track afterwards. Adopting the healthy plate. So using your hands for those portion sizes, which you guys are going to get to portion out your meals after this and kind of see what that looks like. And then just watching your overall portion size, doing it according to your body, your needs. For, maybe you do work out a little more, so you might need a little extra carbohydrate, or maybe you don't work out as much or don't move as much. Maybe you don't need as much, and kind of adjusting based on yourself. And then coloring it up, make sure you get all those different colors for those vitamins and minerals and whole foods. Making sure you're setting up that environment for success. So having the healthy choice be the easy choice, and then making the unhealthy choice a harder choice, putting a little bit of a boundary between that.
I would even do an audit on when you go home, maybe not tonight, but tomorrow or Monday, do an audit of what you have in your house and kind of figure out, okay, is 80% of the foods I have in here healthier, or is it like 25% of the foods that I have in here healthy? And maybe you have to do a little bit of rearranging of the foods, make the more of the junk food harder to reach, out of sight. If you've got potato chips and snacks right there on the kitchen counter, replace that with some apples and bananas and other stuff. Put the veggies right eye level in your proteins, right where you open the fridge, you can see it, rather than maybe some of the unhealthier options. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely do an audit and kind of move down the spectrum and have a higher percentage of your foods being healthier.
Yeah, and then moving on, just kind of taking that action for yourself of being prepared, having that vegetable bin, having the snack box ready to go. So in that way, when you're in a pinch, you have that to fall back on. Focusing on those overall whole foods. So shopping the perimeter, and then making sure that, 80% of the time you're getting those whole natural foods that, if you just left them on the shelf, they would spoil, right? Or if, after a few days they would spoil, and trying to make 80% of the foods you eat from that, but not going so extreme on one end of the spectrum and only eating those foods. You still want to incorporate other foods, like, things that you enjoy that you would still want to incorporate in your diet, but just in a very balanced way.
Yeah. One other thing I do want to add on that is, one of the common things that we hear is people want to eat healthy, but for one, it takes a little bit longer, and for two, it's more expensive. But how I like to think about it is going back to like the gasoline analogy. If you knew that if you go to the gas station and there was gas that was, say, $3 a gallon, but it was really poor for your car, you got less gas mileage, your car was slower, but then you had the premium gas, maybe it is 50 cents more or $1 more a gallon, but your car lasted longer, it ran better, had higher performance, you got better gas mileage, so you can go further. You would probably choose the better gas most of the time. And that's what healthy foods, whole foods, is going to do for you. You're going to feel way better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be able to do so much more in your day, be more productive. So I would rather pay a little bit extra and take a little bit more time to prep my food to have that extra energy, rather than feeling sluggish, brain fog from eating a cheaper source of food. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that analogy makes sense. But
yeah. And then just being positive throughout the whole experience, and then also just being patient with yourself. If we expected, as an analogy, a kid to be able to ride a bike the first time we put them on there, and we were super disappointed when they didn't get it the first time, we need to be a little bit more graceful with ourselves when we don't get those habits the first time. Or if we do, we made a mistake, it's like, oh well, just get back up and try again, right? Treat it how you would somebody else. Sometimes that helps, is just putting it in a different person's perspective instead of just thinking about it through your own lens. Because you can get really hard on yourself when you're trying to change your environment, when you're trying to change your habits and your health for the better. You can get kind of down on yourself. And so if you keep that positive mindset of thinking, okay, what's the best choice I can make in this situation? There's another little saying, better is better, forward is forward. So any type of progress is still good progress, even if it's slow. Slow progress is still progress, and you're still moving forward. So even if it's not as fast as you hoped, or maybe it's not as perfect as you were hoping it to be, it's still better than you were doing before. So give yourself credit for what you have done. Like, focus on the positive things that you're able to do and adding in those good healthy habits. You know, maybe it's, okay, I did have half my plate vegetables at dinner, and okay, I had a drink or I had a small portion of dessert, but I ate less of the dessert than I usually would. Or if you go out for pizza, it's like, okay, I had 2 slices and a salad instead of eating half the pizza. So it's little pieces that add up over time. And then making sure to pre-plan for that success of having those things ready, supporting your environment, and designing yourself a plan, whether it's the meal prepping, or it is getting a meal delivery service, or even getting your spouse in on it. That's another part of it, getting your social environment set up to plan for that success for yourself. And it all does start with a goal. So you do have a little take action item. There's a little red square that you can find on your sheet. So set a goal for yourself, one that's, you know, attainable for you. Maybe it's something just little. Maybe it is making that veggie bucket this next week. Set that goal for yourself. Or, okay, this next month, I'm going to focus on making a grocery list or making a meal plan for myself and incorporating that 80-20 rule. Yep. So take a few minutes and write that down for yourself.
I might touch on why too. Does everybody have a goal written down?
Probably.
Does anybody want to share their goal?
Go Tuesday and Thursday.
There you go.
6 o'clock.
Tuesday, Thursday classes, added it in.
There you go. Cool. The other big thing to think about is you have to kind of know why you're doing this. So you might have aspirations to be healthier, maybe it's start exercising, eat healthier, stuff like that. You have to attach a why to it. So you got to kind of dig deep and figure out, okay, why am I doing this? Why do I want to be a healthier person? Obviously, it might be for personal reasons, like I want to feel better, I want to look better, things like that. But for a lot of us, it's like I want to be a better example for my kids or grandkids. I want to be able to play with my kids. Like Caitlin's why, you know, is all about Wyatt now. So like she wants to be the best mom she can be, for example. So, you know, she talks about that a lot when we do our trainer talk. So try to think of reasons as to why you want to be healthier, and that's going to help you succeed much more than just kind of saying, you know, I want to maybe lose some weight or something like that. Try to dig a little deeper and figure out really why you want to be healthier.
Yeah, and the exercise that we do with clients for that, to figure out what's your deepest underlying why, is just asking why 5 times. So it's like, okay, why do you want to eat healthy? Or why do you want to lose weight? Okay, I want to feel a little bit better. Okay, why do you want to feel better? Okay, maybe I'd be a little bit better mood, or I'd feel a little bit better about myself. Okay, why do you want to feel better about yourself? And keep digging deeper until you've asked yourself why 5 times. And you really have to like look internally and say, oh, okay, this is why I want to do it. It's not just the surface level things of I want to feel better, look better. It's just all the deeper meanings of why is this important to you and why should you stick to these goals? Because it's going to get hard sometimes to incorporate these healthy habits, and behavior change is hard. So if you have a really strong why, it can withstand almost any how. It's one of my favorite quotes.
Yep. So again, just to kind of cap it off, like success is a sum of really small efforts repeated day in and day out. So, you know, you don't have to do a lot of these things. You know, don't try to go home and make a veggie bucket, clean out your environment, you know, clean out your social environment, your online presence. Don't try to do all these things at once. Pick 1 or 2 things, do it, you know, 80% of the time consistently. And after that becomes a habit, then you can add in the next thing. You know, think of it more like zoom out over the next couple of years, not just over the next 30 days. Mm-hmm. So just put in a little bit of effort every single day. That's going to move you forward, and you will be successful.